Good morning to one and all present here. I am Nityanandam Palaniswamy. I am a PhD student in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. My tutor is Professor Dr. Luigi Rovati. My research topic is Innovative Systems for Biomedical and Industrial Applications. My presentation covers the research activities carried out by me during last year. One is on laser Doppler flowmetry. The second is on ocular fundus reflectometry. Now I am going to explain about the laser Doppler flowmetry technique. The aim of this activity is to measure the average relative velocity, volume and flow of the red blood cells in the choroidal region of human fundus using fundus camera based laser Doppler flowmetry technique. The necessity of this study is to investigate pathogenesis of age-related macular degeneration used in the treatment of glaucoma for the clinical practice, used in cardiology to reduce the heart rate. The basic principle of the LDF instrument is an optical Doppler effect, in which the laser light scattered by a moving particle is shifted in frequency by an amount proportional to the velocity of the moving particle. The Doppler shift is given by the equation shown. The experimental setup of the fundus camera based laser Doppler flowmetry instrument is shown. It consists of three major blocks: fundus camera, laser steering system and detector system. The laser steering system provides a laser beam of 40 microwatt power at 670 nanometer wavelength. The laser beam was delivered to the human eye through the same illumination path of the fundus camera. For the choroidal blood flow measurements, the subject was asked to look directly at the beam. The beam was focused about 150 micrometer diameter on the human fundus. The reflected beam is collected by an optical fiber placed on the illumination site. The position of the optical fiber on the illumination site can be viewed through an ocular. The optical fiber is placed on the top of the LDF spot to maximize the Doppler sound. The signal from the avalanche photo detector was also fed into a LDF digital signal processing unit, which digitizes and analyzes the signal and sends the results to a personal computer through an RS-232 serial communication interface. The Doppler signal was also fed into a loudspeaker, which allowing the loud pulsating pitch of the Doppler signal can be heard by both operator and the subjects. This is a picture of the LDF instrument we are using for the choroidal blood flow measurement. The figure A shows the complete setup of the fundus camera. The figure B shows the laser steering system, which provides the laser beam to the human fundus. The figure C shows the detector system, which contains the ocular and collection optics. Figure D shows the illumination site viewed through the ocular, which contains the reflected beam and the fiber optics. During last year, we performed a study on the effect of timolol on the choroidal blood flow using laser Doppler flowmetry instrument. These experiments are performed using double-blind randomized protocol described by Grunwald. On the examination day, we measured heart rate, blood pressure and intraocular pressure at the beginning. These parameters are recorded 2 hours later also. On all subjects, both eyes are dilated with the help of dilation drop, topicamide 1%, and in each subject, in one eye, a drop of placebo, in another eye, a drop of timolol was administered in a masked fashion. The LDF parameters are recorded in the choroidal region of human fundus using this instrument. This experiment is repeated every 30 minutes up to 2 hours. The complete set of experiment is re-repeated 2 weeks later by applying the other drop in the same eye. After application of the drop 2 hours later, we observed statistically significant decrease in the heart rate. We observed no significant changes in blood pressure and perfusion pressure. However, we observed statistically significant decrease in intraocular pressure in the timolol treated eyes compared to the placebo treated eyes. The application of the timolol makes some physiological changes in the human fundus, which causes a decrease in IOP. So the small change in perfusion pressure results in larger variation in the intraocular pressure. So the variation of the perfusion pressure against the intraocular pressure is shown in the figure. The mean values of velocity, volume, and flow at different time intervals of timolol treated eyes and placebo treated eyes are noted in the table. After the application of the drop, we observe there is no statistical significant difference between timolol treated eyes and placebo treated eyes. However, we observe statistically significant increase in blood flow with respect to their baseline. The choroidal blood flow is depend upon the velocity of the red blood cell, but also depend upon the value of the incident and reflected beam. The velocity is mainly depends upon the sampling volume under the human fundus, where the speed of the red blood cells. So this is directly depends upon the Doppler shift power spectrum. So here the percentage change in the velocity against the percentage change in choroidal blood flow is noted. The proposed research activity in this field is we are planning to perform 12-hour reproducibility test on choroidal blood flow measurement on normal healthy subjects. We are planning to test the dilation drop effect on the Doppler power spectrum. We are planning to perform these activities jointly with the ophthalmic clinic with the University of Bologna. Now I move on to the next activity I performed is ocular fundus reflectometry. Aim of this activity is to measure the reflectivity of variation, blood flow changes induced by light flicker stimulation. The experimental setup of this ocular fundus reflectometry is a modified fundus camera with two light sources L1 and L2. L1 is a light source operating at 880 nanometer in infrared range. L2 is a light source at 540 nanometer in the visible range. The light from L2 is diffused by a diffuser D and allowed on the same optical path of the L1 to the human eye. The reflected light is collected by an optical by the camera, and it is filtered by the filter F and allowed to the video camera 1. So this video camera 1 is to capture the inner view of the human eye. At the same time, the video camera 2 is to capture the movement of the people. These both cameras are synchronized with the help of software to acquire the image at the same time. So this is a image acquired by the video camera 1. So the images are acquired at the rate of 25 frames per second. So we are having two images A and B. So both are acquired at different time intervals. So due to the acquisition, the movement of the people, the images can be slightly shifted in nature. So we want to concentrate on a particular area. So that's why we want to align all the image in the same orientation. For that one, we are developing an automatic registration process to compensate this eye motion. So the compensated image is shown in figure C. The results obtained in these activities are, we are already developed a fully automatic registration software that is used to compensate the eye motions, the translation in X and Y direction as well as in the rotation. We are already developed a software that is used to synchronize both the cameras to acquire the image at the same time. Now we are working on to develop a software to align the images based on one camera shift with another camera. The proposed research activities in this field, we are planning to investigate optical nerve reflectance in near infrared region, and we are planning to optimize this optical setup and hardware unit to build an instrument applicable for the clinical use. This is my list of applications. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.